Eli. So we were sitting in the house, and the phone rings, and the person on the other end of the phone tells me he's an attorney. He's calling in regards to my grandson. Despite how I perceive myself as grounded and intellectual, very familiar with scams and bullshit, this guy made me impotent the second he mentioned grandson. I lost everything. And my concern for my grandson, who he tells me was in a car accident, and the other driver, a pregnant woman, was taken to the hospital, and he knew Eli's name. You know, I had said, "Can I speak to Eli?" And they put him on the phone. I mean, obviously, I know now it wasn't him on the phone, but they kind of covered the obvious difference between whoever that was and Eli by allowing that he had a broken nose and it was caused in the accident, and so his voice was different.
After the first phone call, it was like someone put a knife in my heart. Eli was graduating from high school. He had been accepted to so many different colleges, and the first thing I thought is his life is over. It was horrifying, but the end point is that I was so happy that it was not real, because it seemed so real for 2 days.
Back, and several conversations took place leading to the one that was, we can bail him out, we need this much money, and they only accept cash for bail. And they had a person come to the front door and pick it up. And I was sitting here after that, and I said to myself, wait a minute. This, you know, now that a little of the initial message had been kind of dissolved over the course of some hours, I took a breath and I realized the fucking guy punked me. And then I called my daughter and asked her if her son was around, and he was fine. Initially, I felt like I would love to have the opportunity to just go and beat the shit out of this guy with a bat. But saner minds, which I happen to marry, prevailed, and she talked me into calling the police. The police came over that day. They spent a couple of hours, and I want you to realize that it is not my happiest moment to have cops with guns and shit walking into my house. They were friendly, they were non-threatening, but they were fucking cops. And it was getting dark, and it was late, and they're still bullshitting. One of them said, he'll be back. Sure enough, the next morning, I get a phone call. While I was responding to the call, I told Carol to call the cops on the other phone, and she did.
And he's not one to have policemen in the house, but he welcomed them. We treated them royally. Although when I did offer food, the first group said no. The second group, I didn't offer food because I figured that they weren't allowed to eat here. They ended up calling and having food delivered to my house.
Now we hear that the young woman who was pregnant and involved in the accident with my grandson lost the baby. They're willing to forget the whole case if we give money. Now the cops are sitting next to me. And I said, sure. And the cops went and got a bag of paper cut into money size with a dollar bill in the package to evidence the exchange of money. Took maybe an hour and a half or so, but finally he called back and he said, we'll have someone come over and pick it up. He walked up the driveway, rang the bell, I went to the door, gave him the paper money bag, came back inside and said to the cops, go get him. And they did. They just ran out and it was handcuffs and I mean, there's a real show in my driveway going on here. I was on the phone when they arrested this guy. And I had enough time to say to the person on the other end of the phone, got your friend, motherfucker. And that was it, and I hung up, and that was it. So that's the story. What does this have to do with being a hero? I would have felt like more of a hero if I would have beat the shit out of him with a bat. In case anybody's interested, love won this time. You know? So, it's a point for the good guys.